everyone!
Welcome to your virtual day trip with me, Annalise.
And me, Luna.
Hi Luna, where are we today?
Today we're in Horsham Park. We're off on our virtual day trip where we're going to meet lots of people who know interesting facts and things about the park, all the activities that take place here, all the wonderful things to do. But if someone wanted to visit Horsham Park, Annalise, how'd you get here?
Well, let me tell you, we are a very short distance from the train station. There's also bus stops there too. And as you might be able to hear, we are standing in a glamorous car park, so you can also drive here too. But first, let's head over to the sensory garden. We're going to go past Park House until we get to Kaya Cafe. We're going to turn right under an arch, which is where we will go through to get to the sensory garden.
Fantastic! But first we're going to meet Sally. She's the chair of the Friends of Horsham Park group. She knows everything. Park House is a beautiful Georgian building with rear views of the park.
It's now a council building, but there was a time when the Hearst family lived here. I can imagine them all dressing up for dinner and promenading around the park.
Oh yeah, and there's still dressing up to be done here as you can get married.
Oh, what a great setting for a wedding. I bet this oak tree has witnessed many celebrations over the years.
I bet. Now let's hear from Sally.
It's lovely to welcome you here in Horsham Park because we've got a fantastic park here. We've got over 60 acres, which means there's space for everybody and there's so many different things you can do. We've got the Human Nature Garden, which is a very nice, quiet place with lots of very interesting plants. We've got a maze, which children absolutely love because they love finding the dragon in the middle of it. And for children, there's also a fantastic play area where they can work out on lots of different equipment and swing from bars, all sorts of things. That's now next to the swimming pool, which of course can make it a great day out to go swimming and then go and play in the park. But we've also got things that lots of adults enjoy. We've got great walk tracks around or running tracks around the park. We've got outdoor gyms, football pitches, tennis courts. What more would you want? We've got it all here in Horsham Park. Plus, we have some fantastic trees and lovely wildlife that we share this great space with. I'm the chair of Friends of Horsham Park, which has been around for 4 years now, and our role is to really make the most of the park so everyone can enjoy it. So we do 3 things really. We promote the park so everyone knows what's here and what they can enjoy. We try to enhance the park, and I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute because the volunteers are very important for that. But we also try to protect the park because we know how valuable this green space is for all the residents in Horsham, but all the visitors to Horsham. When it comes to enhancing the park, the council do a fantastic job of making sure that everything is safe and hedges are cut. But the volunteers are the ones who are really getting stuck in and making sure that the flower beds look lovely, they're getting better and better. We're trying to plant for more pollinators and other wildlife. So we have a great group who comes along every week and gets stuck in with their weeding, and we have a great time. But it's not just the Friends of Horsham Park who volunteer here. There are other volunteers too. So Horsham in Bloom, for example, looks after the Human Nature Garden. And there are lots and lots of volunteer litter pickers. So that when you visit this park, it's a lovely space. And it's also safe for wildlife too. This year, the Friends of Horsham Park have had a project called Sense the Change to revitalise Park House Sensory Garden, which is a very important part of the park. It was designed 30 years ago with the needs of people in wheelchairs or those who couldn't see in mind. So it's a really nice place to visit, very quiet, and you can go in there, easy to walk around, and there are lovely benches with spaces next to them for wheelchair users, so people can enjoy it all together. But 30 years, some of the plants have got a bit overgrown. So the project this year has been about restoring things. So the first thing we did was restore the sundial. That's now done. But we're also restoring some of the planting which had grown out of shape. We're going to have 2 new beds in there. This summer they've been full of cosmos and hollyhocks and lovely flowers. But we're going to have a Mediterranean style garden there with lots of nice smelly herbs and plants that also attract pollinators. And a winter interest bed, which we think is really important because in the winter it's one of the nicest places in the park to visit because it's dry. So we want something nice and colourful to look at. We're also going to hopefully have enough money to put in a nice curved bench so that groups of people can sit together and talk very easily. So these changes will be happening over the next year, and we're all very excited about what's happening in the garden.
Thank you, Sally. Now, Luna, where are we now?
We're just outside the sensory garden at this lovely arch. I have some nice tendrils. I might add them as hair extensions. But we're going in and we're going to see Mark, who knows all the Latin names for the plants and knows how they grow. So come on, let's go and find out something new.
This is a perfect place for having a moment of calm, such a beautiful setting.
It really is, and one of the many perfect spots in Horsham Park to bring a picnic, have a natter with a friend, or just enjoy being surrounded by the beautiful trees and planting.
We're at the back of Park House. I can imagine you living here in the past, Luna.
Ooh, perhaps I did in a previous life.
Hi, my name's Mark Baldwin. I'm a self-employed gardener. I live in Horsham and I look after Park House Garden on 2 days a month. So in this border we have a range of shrubs, perennials and a few annuals as well. Initially I sort of cleared quite a lot of weeds out of this area, and these areas here have been planted in the last couple of years. Here we've got sweet peas. They're actually done particularly well this year, again for their scent. We've got a really nice aster that's just coming into bloom now, which is Aster Twilight. Again, very good for bees. You can just see next to that we've got a repeat flowering rose. Again, that's very good for scent. And just beyond there you can see Rosa rugosa. The bloom's pretty much finished now, but you've got some really lovely red hips that are actually just coming out. The sweet peas are a hardy annual. They're very easy to grow. I always grow them from seed, seeding them probably in about February. In the garden actually there are 4 varieties of sweet pea that I've chosen. The varieties that I've chosen are Old English varieties, which have a very strong scent. They're sort of still very good for picking. The more that you pick them, the more flowers you'll get, but you do find with the Old English varieties that their stems get very short, so their season is quite a little bit shorter than some of the other more sort of decorative ones. So in this border we've for early flowering we have actually some really lovely peonies, and around the same time we also have got Allium Christophii, but you can see the dried seed heads that are still standing. This particular combination I rather like. This is Inula hookerii, long fennel, and with this particular nice Nicotiana, which is Nicotiana Langsdorffii. Here in this border we have some of the original planting, herbaceous planting that was done when the garden was first planted. This is a white phlox called White Admiral. The White Admiral is a more floral scent, and alongside that it's just going over now. We have a really nice shade plant for shade, which is Thalictrum delavei, planted along a little aster that's just coming out, which is Aster diviricatus, which is a wood aster. And that also was working at the time with the Allium Christophii, which you can see the seed heads. Okay, in this border we've done actually quite a lot of new planting. And I think one of the stars of the show is definitely the Echinacea. These are sort of great plants, and they've done particularly well this year. They've really liked the weather, unlike many. And as you can often see, it's very good for bees. You can see the bees buzzing around on them. And the seed heads are really good for birds as well later in the season. And I've combined that with, you've got a Veronicastrum erica, there's a grass called Calamagrostis brachytricha, and then the blue of Agastache blackadder. Also later in the season we have a white aster, which is this foliage here. This is like a very small, small flowered aster. And also just beyond there you can see the white, the creamy white umbellifer of Selenum wallichianum. One flower I particularly like is Aster fricathii monk. It's a really good doer. It's out of all the asters, it's one of the longest flowering. It's the first to come out, and that will still be flowering well into September and October. What I've done throughout the garden, I have added quite a number of asters of different cultivars, and that is to essentially increase the length of seasonal interest, so there should be plenty of colour well into October. One of the shrubs that I've introduced to the border, which I particularly like, is Hydrangea limelight. This is a Hydrangea paniculata variety which flowers on this year's growth, and I think they're really easy to grow. The colour at this time of the year, as the bloom's just coming out, has got this really lovely green, and as the season goes on they get whiter, and then they start to get a pink flush as the temperatures cool, so that's a really nice one. And I've planted that, alongside it I've added a dahlia, which is Chat Noir, and just beyond there there's some late seeded cosmos, which I'm hoping will actually come into flower probably later this month or maybe into September. Just beyond there you can see the white flowers, that's an anemone, which is Honorine Jobert. Again, that's in a couple of places in the garden, but that's just starting to come into bloom now. One plant I'd really like to mention, which has only gone in this year, it's a herbaceous clematis, which is aromatica. We've got a really lovely flower. The idea is that they would actually grow amongst and across some of the other perennials, but the scent is a nice vanilla scent, and this is alongside Sedum Autumn Joy. This will then become a nice blush pink. That will again come into its full colour probably into September now. Another one of the salvias I've got here, which is doing really well, is this blue flower. This is Salvia uliniglosa. A common name is bog sage, so it actually likes a damp soil, so it's done very well this year, as you can see. Again, loved by the bees. And alongside it, this will flower quite later. This is Sanguisorba tenuifolia Korean snow, which has a white flower, little pendulous flower. Again, looking at that, that's not going to be flowering well till September now. If I had to choose one hardy perennial out of the garden, I'd have to pick Aster fricathii monk. I know I've mentioned it before, but it was one of the plants that was in the original planting. And when I first started looking after the garden, I found a very small, sad clump of it, which I then propagated and we've spread it around the garden. So there's a nice repeat of it, probably in each of the beds. As you walk around, you will often see it.
Thank you, Mark. God, I learnt loads then.
I know, I'm going to test you on all those Latin plant names later.
No, thank you.
And everything smelt so glorious in there, didn't it? All those leaves he said to touch and those flowers, absolutely beautiful.
Do you know what else I smell?
What's that?
A craft activity.
You are not wrong, Annalise, because we're going to make a lavender bag.
Roll VT.
Here goes. We're going to make a lavender bag. You might want to keep it for yourself, but give it to a friend. Step 1, let's make sure we've got the right materials. Some lavender mix, a cotton bag, some cord, a button and 2 felt leaves. Step 2, we're going to fill our lavender bag with our lavender mix. We've got some rice in here as well as the dried lavender, which gives it a little bit of weight. Just add a few teaspoons full so that you fill the little cotton bag about 1/4 full, and that way we've got plenty of room to tie on our leaves afterwards. There we go. Step 3. We're going to get our cord and tie it round the bag, so ruche the top, and then we're going to tie a knot with our little bit of cord nice and tightly on the front, just so that all the rice mix doesn't come pouring out afterwards. Give it a tight squeeze. You might need a friend's finger to hold that down for you while you're doing the knot. Once you've done the first one, it's a bit easier. There we go. Step 4. We're going to add on the felt leaves. So take 1 piece of cord from the 2 and then thread on the first leaf through the hole. Add your second one. There we go. Step 5. let's add our little button. So we're going to thread it through the same piece of cord as before. It's a little bit fiddly, so take your time. And then as we pull that through, we're going to pull it nice and tightly. And then tie a knot again, just to secure everything in place. And once it's all finished, looks beautiful and smells gorgeous, why not pop it in a drawer to deter those moths from nibbling at your winter woolies?
Well, that was a lovely make. Oh, it reminds me just how much I love doing craft.
I know, and the lavender smells gorgeous, so relaxing. But don't fall asleep yet.
Okay, aye aye, Captain. We are just outside the sensory garden. You can see over my shoulder here. But over this way is something really special. Luna, would you like to tell us a little bit more?
Yes, we're going to Poetry Corner, which is a circle of tree stumps, and on the top are brass plaques with different poems on them, which were created as part of a competition in 2019 in the Year of Culture for Horsham. And on those plaques is a poem that came first, and we're going to meet Simon, who's the son of the man who wrote it. So come on, let's get cultured.
Maurice Packham was the winner of the adult poetry competition. The park is obviously a great source of inspiration for writers.
And this is another quiet area of the park and a lovely place to read the poems on the tree stumps whilst the huge trees above send down their positive energy to you.
Perhaps we'll get inspiration and be able to pen a few words ourselves, Luna.
I'm not sure I can compete with Maurice, Annalise.
Horace non numero nisi serenas. I count not the hours unless they be happy. Well, that would be a very simple thing to do. If, like Freud, you could discard the pain of memories sad, taking the optimistic view and only see the happier times again. Be that as it may, we lived a pleasant hour among the lavenders and thyme and sage and pretty things that late in summer flower. And for a time we forgot the weight of age and talked of happier things and moments droll, snatched from a past that cannot change, for which even nature cannot charge a toll, discussing things both rich and wondrous strange. What earthly pleasure is there quite so sweet as gentle friends conversing on a seat?
Thank you, Simon. That was wonderful. And I feel so relaxed now.
I know, we're really lucky to have Simon come and read his father's words to us. And what an amazing poet Maurice was. And it starts us off on our real walk around Horsham Park.
Yes, Luna, you are right. It is just the beginning. We have plenty more to see. So please tell us what we're doing next.
Well, I'm looking in my bag.
For cake? Snacks?
No.
No.
For our tree trail, which is provided on the Friends of Horsham Park website, which gives you a map of the park and then the names of all the trees. And we're going to do this route following those. But to save our eyes, we're going to meet Ben, who's a tree expert.
We're walking to the corner of the park that's closest to the train station and bus stop. If that's how you arrive, you'd most likely enter the park by the Wellingtonia redwood tree, the first tree that Ben is going to tell us all about.
So we're at number 1, the Wellingtonia, Sequoiadendron giganteum. So this is one of the biggest trees in the park, also one of the biggest trees in the world. It's a conifer, native of the east and west coasts of North America, named after the Duke of Wellington. And if you can get up close to it, if you're able to, have a little feel of the spongy, furry bark, because that's quite fun and quite interesting, because that's an adaptation to protect it from forest fires. So we're at number 2. This is an English oak, Quercus robur. So this is quite possibly the oldest tree in the park. We're not quite sure yet. We're still trying to find that out. But it's pretty big, as you can see. Oaks are a symbol of strength and power because of the iron wood that you get from it. And oaks can take between 20 and 30 years to produce their first acorn. This one is slightly different to the fastigiate forms that you can see down the avenue in the park, but there are quite a lot of these in the park, and they're still going strong.
Thanks, Ben. We'll see you later.
Oh yes, I can't wait. I hear something in the distance. What is that?
I think it's some people working out in the green gym.
What's a green gym?
A green gym is like gym equipment that's outside in a green space rather than inside a building.
Ah, fantastic. That makes so much sense, because when you're on a treadmill, sometimes you're just facing a blank wall. It's so boring.
I really wouldn't know, Annalise.
Well, in that case, should we go try it out?
Yeah, go on.
There are 2 outdoor gym areas in the park with equipment that you can have a go on, and burning off a few calories is a perfect excuse to have a cake after you've finished.
Oh, Luna, any excuse for a sweet treat, eh?
Too right, Annalise. This is exhausting.
But so good for keeping your muscles strong and your mind sharp.
You should be a fitness coach, Annalise. I need your enthusiasm.
That was a good workout.
I know, I'm a bit worn out now.
That was only a couple of seconds, but I've got a sweat on.
But it was nice to do some exercise outside, bathed in these lovely trees. I feel like I've got goodness.
Yeah, definitely. And this fresh air, filling our lungs. Oh, it's glorious. But I don't think we're ready for marathon training just yet.
I don't think so.
No. Let's take it down a notch, because over my shoulder, somewhere here, is the bee bed.
Yes, where the Bee Hotel is.
Fantastic.
And where we're going to meet Chris and Deb B
Wah, wah, wah.
to tell us all about it.
Buzz off.
Very good, come on, let's go.
Hello, my name's Chris, and I'm a member of the Friends of Horsham Park. I want to talk at the moment about how we built the Bee Hotel. I still hadn't got no idea really how I was going to build this until I saw some material that had been collected. And the thing that we had that I thought I could use as a foundation were 4 L-shaped concrete bricks. It must have been for side angles of a building. So that was going to be my foundation. We got the 4 corner bits level and then put a pallet down. And I thought, right, where do we go from here? So we tried it with just 1 brick. Then we thought we need a bigger space, so we had 2 bricks. So it was pallet, 2 bricks, pallet, 2 bricks, pallet, 2 bricks, until we got up to 5. We turned them around so that you'd have an open end one way and close the other, so that insects could go at different angles. And we spent, I guess, 3 hours or more for the whole day building that. And just to say, I think this must be the largest bee hotel in the country.
Hi, this is the bee bed that used to be an old bandstand in the park many years ago. But the council set up a competition in 2019 to ask people to design a bed with flowers that would attract pollinators and bees. And I won the competition. And so I wanted to think of some flowers that would last for a long time, from early spring up to the end of autumn, with a vague colour scheme of yellows and oranges, which contrast nicely with the blues in the salvias. And they are all supposed to be rich in nectar, which the bees love. And hiding behind all the tall salvias, we've got a bee hotel that should help the bees survive over winter and perhaps lay their eggs. So it's a really bee-friendly bed. I'll talk you through some of the flowers, the pretty flowers we've got in front of us. We've got nasturtiums, good old-fashioned nasturtiums, and the lavenders are very, very good for bees, and the pot marigolds, another old favourite, and we've got the salvias, which are quite modern, I think, but they're very fashionable at the moment, really trendy. And at the back we've got the orange, very, very tall Mexican sunflowers, which were tiny seeds when I put them in April, but they've done really well. And finally we've got the heleniums, which are another yellow daisy-like flower that seem to have lasted, flowered and flowered. As long as we deadhead all the old flowers, that it just keeps flowering. There you go.
Well, thank you, Chris and Debbie, for that wonderful insight into this gorgeous planting and that lovely bee hotel. What an amazing place for bees to come and visit on their holidays in Horsham Park.
You could say it is beautiful.
Have you been storing that one up?
I have, it's taken me a while to think about it.
Enough of the bee puns.
Yes, because we must crack on. We have an amazing craft for you next. We are inspired by this lovely bee hotel and we're going to make a bee hut. So let's see how we're going to make it.
We're going to make a bee hut. Step one, let's check we've got all of our materials in front of us to make our cosy little home. Step two, we're going to fill our plant pot with all these little bits. So we've got some stones and some bamboo pieces so the bees can kind of burrow down and get cosy inside. We've got some twigs so they can crawl over and get into the crevices and curl up. This lovely pine cone in here that they can curl up in, have a nice nap, hibernate over the winter with their friends in a place that's nice and cosy. And I can kind of imagine that as we put everything together and they crawl inside and curl up, that when we put the leaves on, it almost feels like a lovely duvet that they're going underneath. And there we go. Who wouldn't want to live in a home like that? Now take it home, pop it in the garden or in a window box, a little bit off the ground, and there they are. They can live there safely.
Another great craft, and I have the perfect place in my garden for it.
Fantastic! The bees are going to be buzzing over to yours.
Anyway, talking about buzzing, we should buzz along. We have more to do. Where are we going to next, Luna?
We're going to continue on our walk around Horsham Park, following the tree trail, which means we're going to see Ben again.
We're following the path down towards the pavilions in the park where you can swim or go to the gym, and it also has a cafe and toilets.
Good to know, Annalise.
I know, and on our right is the adventure trail.
The very thought of going up there makes me feel queasy. I'm really afraid of heights.
Don't worry, we're keeping our feet firmly on the ground, Luna. Unless Ben wants us to climb some trees.
I don't think that's allowed, but I might have a go on the swings in the play area as long as you don't push me too high.
You can hear the children having fun in there, certainly. Hope they don't drown out Ben as he tells us about the next tree.
So we're at number 3 now. A silver-leafed maple, or Acer saccharinum. It is predominantly, you'll find it a lot in North America, where the first settlers planted a lot of them. It's a deciduous tree. It's host to, if you have a look up in the canopy on this one, host to lots of mistletoe, which is a parasitic plant, but it doesn't really do much damage to it. So it's called the silver maple because of the silvery undersides of the leaves. If you have a look at the leaves in the breeze, you'll kind of see why. So we're at number 4, the copper beech, Fagus sylvatica purpurea. This is a cultivated form of our native green-leafed form, Fagus sylvatica. There's a few of them in the park. You can tell them, obviously, from the difference between the leaves. If you get up close to this one in particular, there's a whole sea of lichen on its trunk.
Thank you, Ben. Another 2 amazing trees that I didn't know was in the park. But we have stopped here just for a little pause by Horsham Pond.
But we can't rest for too long
Oh.
because we've got to go and see Ben at our next tree. So quick hello to the ducks and then let's go.
So we're now at number 5, the monkey puzzle tree. Its Latin name is quite a mouthful, so I'm just going to try Araucaria araucana, I believe. It's a conifer, native of Chile. It's in fact the national tree of Chile. The leaves have a lifespan of about 25 years, they say. And yeah, if you come up close to it, I don't recommend getting too close, but you'll see why it's called the monkey puzzle tree, because it's very, very spiny. So this tree was around, they think, around the time of the dinosaurs as well, but I don't think anything would have munched it too much.
Thanks, Ben. We'll see you later. Well, this is a great bird's eye view of the park and the perfect time to hear a poem from the 2019 competition. This one is by Hannah Valente and won 2nd place. Do you want to read it, Luna?
I'd love to.
Swallows in Horsham Park. Those airborne East Street acrobats whose dancing forms fill shining sky. Above this, the place which left grass stains on the bare knees of my childhood and mind. Where distress and time and moving day all pause. For breeze lifts leaves, lifts spirits, brushes trees, tears words from my page and blows them away, leaves me here with sun-soaked gaze, looking up through tousled branches to see them fly. How they turn and turn and turn in air, return in summer from who knows where, as I will do when I am done, return, I hope, to peace and grass and summer sun. That was lovely. I feel uplifted.
Well, let's fly down from the sky, shed our wings and have a look inside the human nature garden.
We're now in the Human Nature Garden in Horsham Park, and this was built a few years ago on what used to be the pitch and putt ground, which was very underused. So they've landscaped it beautifully. We've got an amphitheatre with seats going down to it, but everywhere we've got plants that show the link between man and nature. So we've got some things that you can eat. So behind us we've got a fig tree and the figs are nearly ready. There's some artichokes over there, but there are also lots of herbs and then medicine. So there's some echinacea, and that's all exploring the link that we have with nature and where a lot of our medicines come from. Plus we've got bamboo in this garden, and that talks to us about the link between man, plants, clothing, building structures. So there's lots to explore. It's our mini Eden really here in Horsham Park.
Well, thank you, Sally. It's nice to see her again. Oh, Luna, your hair is up. Sun's out, guns out. Something's changed. What's going on?
Well, it's all happening now. I'm preparing to be sporty because we're gonna go in and meet the guys at Horsham Park Bowls Club, and I feel like I'm feeling competitive. Hair up, ready to go.
Ready to bowl.
Oh yeah.
Is that what they say?
Let's find out.
Okay.
Good afternoon, my name is David Spur and I'm chairman of Horsham Park Bowls Club. Horsham Park Bowls Club is a very friendly club. We're never going to be top of the UK Championships, but we welcome new members. We have plenty of room around the green for spectators that can come in at any time and watch a game that's in progress. We have a list of our games that are coming up that are on the board outside, so that people in walking past will know when we're going to be playing. And at that point they can come in through the big gate or the side gate here and watch a game in progress. Anyone that's interested in bowls can come in at any time, and we have games going on a Monday evening, Tuesday morning introduction to bowls, and a Friday afternoon where we can introduce them to bowls, the technique of bowling, and all of the difficulties as we've discovered today with Luna and Annalise.
Thanks, David. Come on, Luna, show us how it's done.
Oh dear.
Try again.
Practice makes perfect, eh? Your turn.
I could get into this.
Hey, no running on the green.
Yes! I am so into playing bowls.
I'm glad that David is a patient teacher. My eye to hand coordination's really struggling here.
We're definitely improving. I wonder if we get a prize.
Perhaps a cup of tea back in the clubhouse.
Go and put the kettle on whilst we hear about the benefits of joining the Bowls Club and get some top tips from the bowling experts.
So, bowls, basically the first aspect is meeting new people and having a good time. I would say bowls techniques, it's about getting down as low as you can and keeping your arm very straight and not bending your elbow. Thirdly, concentration. Personally, I put my right foot behind my left foot and aim with my left foot. A lot of people stand with 2 feet straight, and it just depends on what you're comfortable with. I've learnt some tips on YouTube, and from my dad. My dad used to bowl professionally, so yeah, he brought me along about a year and a half ago, and I said, oh no, I don't think I'm going to play bowls. And then I come in and met everyone and absolutely loved it, and I've been here ever since.
John, I want to thank you very much for welcoming me as a new member to the club.
Well, it's delighted to welcome you, Margaret. We have these Tuesday taster sessions every morning throughout the season, normally 10 till 12.
Yes.
But we welcome new members. It's a bit difficult to come in first of all. We try and ease people into the game, and we do it gradually by chatting and playing, etc.
Yeah.
And I'm hopefully it's worked with you.
It has certainly worked, and a Monday evening as well.
Monday
and all
evening.
the coaching,
Right.
which I've enjoyed.
Good.
And the whole welcome from the club has been
Yeah.
great.
And of course we can allow you 4 sessions before you start paying money at all. After that,
paid.
yes, and even then it's at a discount, so we get
Yes.
it off the next year.
Yeah.
So it's an excellent way of at least coming in to play bowls in the first stage. You're very
Yes.
welcome.
Yes, it's been really good, thank you. And I think every other bowl I managed to hit the jack.
Do you think you've learned a bit in the first few weeks and
I've
so
learnt
on?
an awful lot,
Yes. Yeah.
And I wish I'd done it 20 odd years ago.
Yes, I know,
I
but
really do.
the jack is always in the wrong place, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, but
I have hit the jack a couple of times.
yes, but you've met a few friends as well here, haven't you?
I've met a lot of friends, and it's really good.
And you'd encourage many people
I
to
would
come along
certainly
if they can
would.
make it
Yeah.
next season.
Totally. Next season, I'm looking forward to.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thanks, Horsham Park Bowls Club. Such a welcoming group. We had a great time playing bowls. I think it's a brilliant way to meet new people and get fit.
Luna, next match day we'll have to come down and sit on one of those benches around the green and watch a game.
Good idea. Where are we off to now, Annalise?
We're going to meet Ben at the wedding cake tree, which I have to say sounds delicious.
Well, I hope you're not disappointed. Talking of weddings, these flowers are as pretty as any bridal bouquet that I've ever seen.
And right next to the immaculate tennis courts. You could get in a game before you walk down the aisle.
We're now at number 6, the wedding cake tree, or Cornus controversa variegata. Big mouthful, that one. But it's called the wedding cake tree because it grows in layers, in those kind of tiers. It's a form of a dogwood, variegated leaves, so that's white around the edge of the leaves. It's native of China and Japan, and it's one of my favourites. So we're at number 7, common lime, Tilia cross-europea. That's a interspecific hybrid naturally occurring hybrid. Avenue just by the tennis courts. So this is a native tree, one of only 2 limes in the British Isles, and interestingly, the bark and the wood can be kind of strung out and made into twine, into like a really strong rope.
Thanks, Ben. And although we didn't get to eat a slice of wedding cake or have a glass of lime juice from this tree, I really enjoyed learning about them.
Me too. And there's another one left on our tree trail for us to hear about, just on the other side of the bandstand over near the cafe.
So we're at number 8, the Corsican pine, Pinus nigra var maritima. So the var bit means it's a variety of the species. So it's slightly different to the ordinary species. But, these are native to Corsica in Italy, quite a fast-growing pine. Clues in the name, maritima, so they're generally a coastal plant. And the resins are tapped to make turpentine for preserving woods, etc. And as they're quite an important tree in this space, some of the branches are sort of growing apart from each other. So if you can look up, you can see some of them are braced in between, so it stops them basically falling apart.
Thank you, Ben. That was brilliant, wasn't it? And that was our final tree in our tree trail. It's sad to be over, isn't it?
I am sad it's over. We are back where we started. I can see the maze over here, the sensory garden where we first started today, and behind me we have Kaya Cafe. Now, before we grab that lovely cup of tea, is there something else that we've got planned?
Yes, we're going to meet David, who's going to lower our blood pressure, calm us right down. He's going to, actually, I'm not going to tell you what he's going to do. David will explain it much better.
Hello, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about exercises that can be done very easily, standing or seated, and those exercises are related to Tai Chi and Qigong. Now, Tai Chi, you'll have heard of, is actually a martial art, but one aspect of it, which is the hand form, that no doubt you'll have seen examples of in travelogues and shows like that, is done very, very slowly. Qigong are exercises that help prepare people for doing Tai Chi, and those are also done very slowly. And it's thought that the benefit that brings to the muscles, holding postures and moving with grace and slowness, helps to develop strength and develop subtlety in the joints and in the ligaments, but also the emphasis on the breathing, deep breathing in, deep breathing out, creates a calming effect on the mind, and a lot of people think of it as a form of moving meditation. So that's Tai Chi, the martial art, and Qigong, the moving meditation. We're going to do 1 or 2 Qigong exercises. Qigong means breath or energy, Gong means work, exercise. So these are breath exercises, okay? And for that reason, I'll just talk you through how we do them. Each of these can be done seated in a version as well as standing, but I'm going to demonstrate the standing version just in this little clip, okay? So here we go. We're breathing in, imagining breathing in through the very top of the head, and by now that breath is in the chest cavity. And as we sink in the knees and the hands slowly descend, we breathe out and imagine that breath in advance of the lowering hands, going down through the body and out of the soles of the feet. So in through the top of the head, it's in the chest, and then we visualize or imagine the sensation of the breath passing down through the body, through all the tissues, the organs. And with each passage of the new breath passing down. We imagine a cleansing effect, a revitalizing effect. The breath like a wash of water traveling through the body and down, out of the soles of the feet and even into the ground. So we're breathing in through the top of the head. The breath is now in the chest. Breathe out and imagine the breath passing down through the body, down each leg and out of the soles of the feet. So that's one exercise, and we would do repetitions about 30 or 40 times until the breath is really slow and our sensations and our awareness of our body has grown. Okay. Let me show you another exercise, okay? We're in a different stance and our weight is on our front leg and our palms are forward. And in this, we're going to bring our focus to the surface of the face and imagine that as we come back onto the back leg and breathe in, we imagine we're breathing in through all the pores of the face down into the chest. And when we come forward, we imagine we're breathing out through the face. So, in breath and out breath. In breath and out breath. Just bringing the mind and the focus of the mind to the face and imagining the sensation, breathing in through the face, breathing out through the face. Again, this exercise is very easy to do in a seated version. And again, just some indication of the Qigong exercises from ancient China.
Well, we're nearly at the end of our virtual day trip around Horsham Park.
But before we go, let's explore the maze that Sally mentioned earlier.
It's perfect for hide and seek.
I'll race you to the dragon. First one there gets to unpack the picnic.
Cheers! And how about we hear one final poem? I think Rod Cummings' words that won him 3rd place in the poetry competition would go really nicely with a cuppa.
I agree. Here we go. Plenty to do. There's plenty to do in the park. Start early, don't wait until dark. You can bowl, you can kick, you can run till you're sick. Take rubbings of trees while they're bark. There's fun to be had all around. Swim inside and out, I have found. You can scoot, you can skate, crash into your mate. Mind you don't hit your head on the ground. There's tons of fabulous things. You can slide, climb on ropes, go on swings. Have a bash at the gym, get fashionably slim. Get out there, enjoy, spread your wings.
Well, we've finished our cuppa, we've eaten our cake, and it brings us to the end of our virtual day trip around Horsham Park.
I loved it so much, and thank you so much to all the people that we met along the way. You really did make our day so special. I want to do it again already.
Well, you know what? Get ready, because our last activity is to create an invitation that you can give to a friend or a family member and come and do it all over again.
Fantastic. Can I invite anyone I want?
You can, but I was kind of expecting the invitation to be sent to me.
Your invitation is in the post, Luna. Do not worry.
Okay.
I will see you next time. But thank you so much for joining us today on our virtual day trip.
Thank you.
This virtual day trip was created by Whistlestop Arts in partnership with Friends of Horsham Park and Age UK West Sussex, Brighton and Hove.
And it was funded by Sussex Community Foundation. Thank you to everyone who has supported this project.
For more resources and information about the work that we are involved in, please visit whistlestoparts.org.